for the Ravagers to rise once again to glory.
You are listening to The Ravager Report, a Fox Next Marvel Strike Force podcast dedicated to bringing you the latest news, information, and updates with your hosts, Dorian.
It is a name what strikes fear into the hearts of anyone what hears it.
And Hebrew Hammer.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Hello and welcome to episode 56 of the Ravager Report. I am your host, as always, Dorian, and with me after our rather extended vacation time is Hebrew. Hebrew, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing very well. I'm chowing down on a delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich while also having delicious Pellegrino with lemon.
There you go. What more can you ask for?
What?
I said, what more can you ask for?
Literally nothing. This is the pinnacle.
Although I do have to agree with Pope in chat there. Chips kind of make the difference. They do add to it.
You're right. I wish that I had some chips because I would totally be eating them right.
So I do want to welcome everybody to episode 56, as I said earlier. We have some exciting things going on right now because Hebrew, tonight, for the first time ever, we are live streaming the show on Twitch and YouTube, as well as recording it on Discord. So, guys, you can watch online if you want, where you're going to see my beautiful mug throughout the entire show. We don't have Hebrew for Hebrew reasons, and we are going to respect Hebrew reasons. But I will promise you, hey, guys, look. Throw money at him, and he will show up on the screen. Okay, so I have a feeling that if you guys throw enough money at him, that could happen.
It has to be. It's going to sound way too greedy if I say it in the way that you have to do it. But yeah, basically, there is something else that me and a couple other people from some other project have promised ourselves to. So we can't do it yet. But as soon as that's done, I'll be back on with Dorian on Twitch and the YouTubes.
Right. See, and kind of my counter argument, I'm just going to, since we're going to go to the jury here. And guys, my feeling is that this isn't that show. So what he does on this show doesn't matter on that show. And what he does on that show shouldn't matter for this show. But we're second fiddle for Hebrew.
The deal is for the other show, and we have lots of crossover listeners is the issue.
Well, I mean, they could pay patron money here too for that.
Sure.
You could take your half of the patron money and spread it around over your other podcast.
Yes.
Hey, that's what I do. Look, I'm not going to lie. A lot of the patron money that comes in this way now is helping funnel into, new channel stuff. So,
I'm actually I'm looking it up on live right now, actually. Oh, yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's working. Hello. Hi, everybody.
Yep.
So I am, just to give you a quick update, obviously, I was able to get a new laptop for Black Friday from Best Buy. So I can now do more things. So quick shameless plug, I am streaming like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, doing different games and different things every night. And obviously Friday nights we're going to be doing the show live, not just on Discord, but on Twitch and YouTube. And I'd love your feedback, guys, on what you think and how it's going. What you think I can do to improve it, what we need to do to make things better, improve quality, layouts, things of that nature. So, let's see. Hebrew, before we get into the show for the week, we did get a new patron this week. Actually, we got him last week. We got, let me open the show notes here. That's what I need to do. I guess I need to put the show notes on the live feed, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can do that. So this patron joined us on November 30th, and the patron is Tune in next month for tips on flipping Trump family members! Exclamation point, exclamation point. So since we're in December, it's now next month. So here are your tips for flipping Trump family members, okay? So number one, get their permission. Nobody likes being flipped unless you have, gotten express permission first, and you don't want to have somebody call the cops on you. Number two, don't skip leg day. You need to have a good leg day because you're going to have to get low the center of gravity so that you can get them up into the air so that they'll flip over. Okay? So, don't skip arm day because if you can't get a good grip. Now, when you do it, you're going to have to look online here, right? So when you do your grip, make sure you interlock your fingers like how I've got them here because it's very hard to break when you've got your fingers interlocked in this pattern. Okay? So you're going to come up probably around the knees, lift hard, flip, let go. They should go over end. Okay? Now, when they get up and deck you, it's your fault. All right. So there you go. There's your tips on how to flip Trump family members.
Oh, boy.
They asked.
That is great. I'm so glad this happened on this podcast.
Hey, look. I love a good troll. This, by the way, I want whoever this was. Thank you. This was well done. This was an excellent troll. I hope you got a response worthy of what you were expecting. So, Hebrew, let's go ahead and get into actual content here. And
Yes.
Why don't you let everybody know what you've been up to over the past couple of weeks?
So basically, these past 2 weeks have been like I am bare bones MSF just because we've had, along with the holidays, we've had so much like homework. I say we just because me and my girlfriend are both going through it right now, but we have so much homework and studying for finals and everything. So it's crazy over here at the apartment. We're constantly having to leave rooms to give each other, privacy time to study. And it's a kind of a nightmare. And not to mention we have to keep going back and forth between our apartment and then my parents' house because we have to help set up. For some reason, we have to help set up the Christmas decorations over at my parents' house. So we've been doing that, and they have 3 trees that they set up with tons of ornaments, which is ridiculous. So that was like a 4-day affair. And yeah, so that's been my life pretty much. And outside of that, in game, just been very bare bones because of all that other stuff. So I've been doing the minimum required for blitzes, just milestones and chill. And that's phone.
Oh, okay. I was about to say streamer mode for Discord.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just doing the bare necessities. So I've been kind of out of the loop a little bit these past 2 weeks, but the important stuff I've been around for, so that's good. And I'm happy to finally be able to get plugged back in once finals are done. That's for sure.
Very nice.
Yep. What about you?
Well, so obviously we took a bit of an extended break. So, like I mentioned, I did go out and finally broke down and got a good gaming laptop that's going to last me hopefully for years to come. So I wound up getting a video game that I play on the Xbox incessantly and have talked about on the show called Elite Dangerous. I got that for the laptop because it was on sale on Steam for like $15. So that was fantastic. I've been playing the heck out of it. I've started streaming, as I mentioned earlier, doing different games Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then we're going to be doing this one. In game, I have a new blitz strategy, so I finally am getting to the point where I can be semi successful in blitz. And it was, friend of the podcast, Evan, who was like, yeah, dude, just auto and don't worry about it. So every couple of hours, I just go in and I hit auto and I just minimize and I go do your thing. And I come back and I check in a few minutes. And if the battle's done, I go, yay. and then I just pick the next team and go. If I drop tiers, I drop tiers. I don't really care. It's just so easy to run through my. Now it takes a while, right? And I actually messaged Cerebro today, and it was like, just to give you an idea of the insane amount of time here, blitzing alone every 2 hours, you've got to spend 20 or 30 minutes minimum. And I'm just autoing, right? I'm not taking the actual time to do these fights. I can't imagine the amount of time people who sit and actually play these fights take. It's insane.
Oh yeah.
So you guys are oof, you're something. So hey, quick shout out to Alliance Mate Bacon for upgrading the all-seeing ability for Heimdall to level 5. There's a guy who spends money. So
by the way, it looks like there's no audio coming through on Twitch.
I think it should be coming through now. I may have had it. If you're listening on Twitch or watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Twitch and the audio wasn't working, or if it's still not working, guys, if somebody could jump over there and check it, that would be great. I think I have it fixed, but I'm not 100% positive. I think I had it to monitor off, which means that it won't send out. So those of you on Twitch, if you're now getting audio, and I really hope you're getting audio, sorry about that. You'll have to just listen to the show because you missed some epic intro. Other than that, let's see. So I finally hit level 75, which is a good thing. I've got my Gravitech team. I don't run Tech Wing. I actually think I have a better team called Gravitech. You take Falcon out, you put Graviton in, because Graviton will hit with Ultron level power, and he does a really good AoE, and he just does absolutely amazing, especially with some quality stuns. I have some video I hope to get out soon on Gravitech. But yeah, try that team. Take your basic Tech Wing, take Falcon out, put Graviton in, and run that team. And I promise you'll see better results. You might have to figure out the pattern of who to attack and what to do, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. So nobody to gear 14 yet, because who's got time for that?
Real quick, this is a random question, but is Graviton your favorite character in the game?
Graviton may right now be my favorite character in the game. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he is, because. And it's not his character, right? Because I'll be honest with you, before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and before the game, I didn't know who Graviton was. I had no idea who he was. Right. But his kit is amazing. And I think that he's got one of the best all-around kits in the game, because he just does so much. And then when you throw him into war, oh, here, you have a disrupt, you have a disrupt, you have a disrupt. I mean, it's just all over the place. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever made a better investment in this game so far than whenever it came to Graviton. Like, going all in with my course, and everything. Just because he's such an awesome character, his kit's ridiculous, and yeah, he's super plug and play, and he's so much fun to play.
Yeah, he really is.
Great character.
So I did get Mr. Sinister, because I scored high. I got in the 5% for the Blitz last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I got enough to get Mr. Sinister. So I have him. Ain't nobody got resources to level nobody, though. So he's sitting in the realm of Gear 1, Level 1. I have been pumping resources into Hela, however, because even though she's only like 3 stars, she's three gold, 3 red. That team is absolutely amazing, because I have a Gear 13 Loki and a Tier 11 Thor. Don't ask. I've had a Tier 11 Thor for a long time. So I put the resources into Hela, and I actually run them in Blitz with Venom and Carnage, and they will hold their own on auto at 8.3.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not even like she's only where is my Hela? She is only right now sitting at 23k power. So
yeah, I mean, Hela's strong.
She
Hela's
is
a
really strong
character.
And the updates they did to Thor and Loki make them just they're crazy amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm about to do an auto blitz battle here. My Hela team is only like 191.5k against a 305k team that's Ant-Man, Hulk, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Deadpool. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's been a lot of fun working on those teams, and that's something I got to add to the show notes there. So, yeah, that's pretty much. It's been an extended. We were off 2 weeks, so
yeah. I mean, I don't think like a bunch has happened though for these past 2 weeks. Like as far as like big deal stuff, and strangely enough, I don't think anything controversial has happened.
In
surprising.
game, I disagree. I think in game there has been a couple of things.
Which one?
Well, there was the Alpha 4 kerfluffle.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Minor UI bugs with the update from this week, but I think
I don't hold that one against them.
Yeah, that just kind of happens.
Yeah,
they got crushed. That team got absolutely crushed. So they are not punching up 110k guys. They will against the right team and with some guidance, but not on full auto. But yeah, I think outside of the alpha raid thing, it's been relatively smooth. Now, that happens when your devs go on vacation for a couple of weeks, and you don't do anything.
Yeah,
it's hard to screw up when you're not there to screw it up. You know,
right? Well, yeah, and that's exactly why I like. So, yeah, the Alpha 4 thing is you're right. I forgot about that one, but I think that one's the only like real one that was like, all right, come on, Fox next. But everything else, for the most part, there's a pretty good track record. 2 weeks in a row with only one mistake. That's pretty good.
Yes. So that is not bad. So
yeah,
we'll give them credit where credit's due. They didn't do anything to break the game horribly bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so that was out there for a little bit. Now, so that. You know what? That's actually a good segue into the news because there's no survey this week. I apologize, guys. I'm just so busy that producing a survey can be it's time consuming. It really is. I've got 2 or 3 shows I'm doing with the live streaming and everything else that doing that it can just be crazy insane. So if you do like surveys and you actually think maybe you'd like to create a survey, shoot me a message and let me know, because we are looking for somebody to help manage our surveys, basically create the surveys during the week, coordinate with Hebrew and myself about it, do the survey questions, things of that nature, and we'll work together to send them out. And we'll talk about, I'd like to reimburse you for it, so there will be some perks for doing that. So if it's something that you're interested in or you'd like to do, feel free to shoot me a message, let me know, and we'll get you hooked up with proper permissions and make everything good to go. Mm-hmm. So, let's go ahead and move into now the news for the week. So, talking about the Alpha Kerfluffle, that kind of raises the question of, do you think that Graviton's going to be the next Alpha Raid boss in character?
I mean, I just don't know, but I certainly hope so, because I know you and I are obviously of the same mind on this, but we both love Graviton. So if they do, that's fantastic. That's pretty much all there. I was gonna say like it might be bad if you look at it one way because then it could really flood like everyone getting a lot of like a really hard hitting graviton, but I don't really care. Everyone deserves a hard hitting graviton. That character is just so good. So yeah, I really hope that it is, but we'll see. I mean, I'm assuming you think he will.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because those nodes were all laid out, right? So I mean, those nodes were completely laid out. He was the boss icon. He was, those teams were not the same thing that you saw in the current Alpha 4 with Venom. So I think there's a strong possibility that he will be, if not the next iteration of the Alpha Raid, the one after that. Now the question is going to be, will it be with the reworked aim or with the non-reworked aim? Because I've heard that when that raid kind of went live in place of the Venom raid, that it was basically the pre-rework aim team, so they were relatively easy to beat.
I'm sure it'll be the reworked version.
It's going to have to be, otherwise people are going to walk through it because Foxnex can't give us anything, right? We've worked on beating that alpha raid, so let's ramp up the difficulty so that we can't beat it now, and we have to work on different teams.
There has to be a roadblock somewhere.
There has to be a roadblock somewhere, and that is just ridiculously sad that happens because. It's just sad.
I guess I'm just so used to it now that it doesn't really bother me anymore. Like I just know that's it's gonna change, and that's like to me it's okay at this point just because I'm used to it. But yeah, I mean I certainly get where you're coming from. That's for sure.
Yeah, so, and I apologize. I now have extra chats that I have to monitor, so I'm going to have to figure out how to add and it's possible to do it because I do it in my Dorian Blade Gaming Discord server where the bots come back and forth. So... I'm going to have to work on getting that set up. I just kind of got it set up today, so I apologize, guys, that if I'm slow responding to you, you might be better off chatting on Discord to Hebrew and myself. The Discord link is in the video, and that should take you right to the studio audience channel. So, yeah, I mean... I kind of hope they do because I can push so I run a modified Gravitech team in the Alpha Raid, and because I do the global nodes, so I run like Scientist Supreme, Graviton, Ultron, Shuri, and Vision, and that team basically one shots everything in the global and the global city all the way up to the boss node, and I can one shot the boss node with that team. In Alpha 4.
Right.
And look, I'm not talking a heavy, high-powered team here. They're okay, but they're not spectacular. I mean, I want to say maybe 250K at that.
Yeah, it's just that strong synergy.
It's just such strong synergy. So, I mean, look, the rework Scientist Supreme, honestly, she's one of the most important characters in the game right now.
Yeah,
I mean, point blank. I mean, she's just absolutely one of the most important characters of the game with her utility.
Thank God I got 7 stars on her.
Right? Man, I tell you what, I put her unique. I put her level 4 or her gear 14 unique on her. That made a big difference.
Yeah, such a good character.
Because somebody may or may not have been buying Tesseract energy every time they saw it.
That was a good call.
Hey, but yeah, sometimes you beat the dog, sometimes the dog beats you. So
true.
I do not condone cruelty to animals. All right, I'm just saying that now. It's just a saying. really bad
All
one.
right.
I don't know where it came from.
Not everyone's a snowflake. You don't have to worry about that.
Dude, we're on Twitch now. I got to be careful.
That's true.
And YouTube. I got to be extra careful.
Yeah, because of YouTube, you have to be extra careful. You're right.
So I'm just making sure that, it's just a saying.
Fair enough.
Nobody should ever do that. So, all right, moving on. So we got a big update this week, obviously. Really big update. There was a lot of changes in the UI. So we finally got an Equip All.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes, that
Took a
was
while,
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful we got that. I think my only feedback to them on that was I would prefer that when I do the Equip All, just go ahead and do the upgrade at the same time. Don't maybe click Equip All, then click Upgrade.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a minor beef, right? It's just kind of laziness on my part.
Well, I feel it's good to be said too, because I mean it's not going to take much for them to add on, and it would make that little feature that they added in for quality of life even better. So I think it's fair to say, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely something that has long been needed, and I'm really happy that we finally have it. There was also a kind of minor. I don't think they announced it, but people kind of discovered it. They've made it super easy now to drop tiers in Blitz. So you can go in and you can either retreat from the battle or lose the battle and basically drop a tier.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. That helps a lot on blitzes, or especially for milestones. When you have to blitz for milestones, that is going to be crazy insane helpful to have that ability. So
yeah, no, I
agree.
It's certainly nice features. Yeah.
Yeah. Some really nice features there. The boost changes live in game for war.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bonus. It does make it easier because you don't have to sit and watch and sit and watch and sit and watch and sit and watch. To be able to boost teams, you just go in and you can drop. Like our alliance has a two boost minimum for war. So now instead of going, well, I don't want to boost these 180k teams, you can go in and actually pick the big teams. So, hey, Forsaken just said, hold my beer to bacon, and has upgraded Goddess's Death ability on Hela to ability level 5. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So we got those guys like to compete with each other to see who can, who's got the bigger wallet. So Forsaken, by the way, is also, he is listening on Twitch right now, so I feel okay calling him out. So he's been a big supporter as I have been learning and getting into the streaming side of things.
Yep.
So that's always good to have people like that, because I still don't have a follow from Hebrew, I don't think.
I am following.
You might be following, but you're not viewing. So.
Well, yeah, I'm not viewing, but I am following. To be fair, I don't view anyone. I really don't watch Twitch that much at all. So, yeah.
So
I just use it for Twitch Prime.
What do you, nothing wrong with that, but, if you want to throw that sub my way once I get an affiliate, that would be awesome. Unless you've already promised it to somebody else.
I would alternate.
Hey, that's fair.
Yeah.
So, Hebrew, what all do you think of, like, the boost change and everything? I feel like I've kind of been dominating the discussion for a bit.
Well, with the boost change, I mean, I still fall in the same thing. I hate boosting. I hate it.
Yeah.
And so until it's gone, which it never will be, but, I like to dream sometimes. I don't think I'll ever care about a boost change in the slightest. But, I mean, this is better, but it's just... I'll never be happy with boosting, no matter what they do with it, until it's just gone. It needs to be eradicated. Then I'll be happy.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've been telling people is that even though I can intellectually admit that it is a move in the right direction, it's hard for me to applaud Fox Next for doing that, right? It's just like the Blitz. Oh, that's the other thing that they did. They increased the Blitz tiers. I don't think we talked about that last time.
I think we did actually.
Did we?
But I mean,
well, we could discuss it again because it's kind of in that same vein of it's a step in the right direction, but it's just not enough, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I just think that they have this attitude of like they lower the bar so much, and then they like I just don't want to give them a pat on the back whenever they make it slightly better.
Yes.
Whenever they lower the bar so low in the beginning.
Right. And the problem is that if they get that pat on the back for these small minor changes, that encourages them to keep doing small minor inconsequential changes.
Yeah, and lowering the bar in other places so they
Correct.
can keep doing it. Yeah, exactly.
DD3.
That's why I hate doing it. Yeah. So that's my issue with it. So yes, objectively it is better than what it was, but I will never be happy with it till it's gone. So,
which is fair, but I also won't sit here and just applaud Fox Next for doing a small minor thing when they know that there are better ways to do things, and they know. I know they know. So, I just, that's one of the benefits of being on the inside. You kind of see the way the mind works. You know what I mean? They've never come out and said that, but it's just you know how it works.
It's not even you see how the mind works. It's more of you see how the machine works. The money printing machine works.
Yes, you see how the money printing machine works. That is very true. So, I think that's really about it for the UI update, guys. If there's anything that you feel that we missed during that, let us know in chat.
Well, there's one thing.
What?
Did you like the aesthetic change to the currency?
You know what? Now that you bring that up, meh. Okay. Here's my fear. Did you see how small they made those icons?
Yeah, they did actually.
How many more stores are they planning on adding?
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but I did notice. I was like, "Oh, this is small."
It's really small. I mean, it's itty bitty tiny. So that makes it. That does give me a little bit of concern. I mean, I like the look. Don't get me wrong. I think the look. I have never, ever, I think, well, no, I take that back. There's one time I've complained about the art department in this game. But other than that, I don't, some of their UI color choices, that yellow was horrible, still give me nightmares. But their art in and of itself has always been gorgeous. Not my Green Goblin. So it's tough to really criticize them on things like that because I don't mind the way that they changed it, and I'll get used to it over time.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right, though. I think that they did that because they are planning on adding more stores. Like I'm looking at it again, and I'm like, I feel like that their end game goal is to fill up that entire top area with stores.
You can't see me right now, but people on Twitch can. I'm just rubbing my forehead, man.
Yeah, I mean it's true.
I'm just yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cyclops shard store coming. There it is. That'll be the DD3. You'll unlock Doctor Doom when you run the DD3 the first 3 times. You'll need to run it 3 times now to get Doctor Doom fully. The first time to unlock him at 5-star, the second time to get him to 6-star, the third time to get him to 7-star, and then you'll have to just keep doing it after that to earn stuff for maybe Cyclops.
Yeah.
Oof, I'm giving them ideas, aren't I?
Yeah, I'd be careful what you say about DD3.
It's all right. Cerebro doesn't listen to this show anymore anyway. So, let's see. We got 4 new characters incoming. And that is one thing I want to talk about. I've been planning on putting a video out about this, and I still am. So let's talk about the new characters first, right? So we've got Yo-Yo. She's incoming. Oh, let me move this down just a little bit there. So we've got Yo-Yo incoming. For those of you that don't watch Agent of the Shield, you may be going, who? She is a character. She's basically a speedster who has to return to her starting point. So she can go as fast as she wants to do, and do things, but she basically comes right back to her starting point when she stops. So that's why the name Yo-Yo. So she's going to be Shield protector, actually, which is an interesting call for her character. She should be more of a brawler, I think, but if I remember correctly, she's going to be a blaster. Then we've got Heimdall, who is available for purchase now. For the small price of half your soul, you can get Heimdall. And for the full thing, maybe a 6-star. 5. I'm sorry. Fox next. Fox next. You'll only get 5-star. That's all they think that he's worth, or that's all they think you're worth. It's... His kit seems really nice. I haven't gone into it a whole lot because I'm not getting him until the campaign, and I typically don't really look at the characters too much beforehand. It kind of makes me a bad content creator. But for those of you that can't see on Twitch, I just smacked my hand. But it's one of those things of, I'm probably going to get him. I'll get him at 3 or 4 stars. I doubt I'm going to core out to get him to 5. Actually, no, I'm coring out to get him to 5. I'm going to need him for the legendary. And he's a good character, right? And I love playing the Asgardians, so there's no reason why.
Yeah, he's a pretty good character.
I mean, he is a good character. So I will be, trying to get him to 5 stars through the campaign, which starts next week. And then after that, we're going to have Lady Sif. We don't know where or how she's coming. My guess is Blitz. So be ready for the Blitz, which I'm not going to lie, could be a little frustrating if they don't make her farmable right thereafter. And I say that because they are going to be required, the Asgardians are going to be required to get our next legendary character, the Ultron killer himself, Black Bolt. Who, I'll be honest with you, I'm not impressed.
Why aren't you impressed?
Because this guy was designed with one purpose and one purpose only. They looked at Ultron and they said, oof, what are we going to do?
How do we kill it?
Right.
Yeah.
How do we kill Ultron? And that's all his kit is. I mean, it's intentionally designed when somebody's kit is specifically says, on summon, apply disrupt.
Yeah.
Do this and that on summon. No revive. I mean, you're really looking.
Maybe he's talking about Yondu.
Yeah,
counter that Yondu
all those mad Yondus running around arena and every other game mode. Yeah, that's who they're talking about.
I totally agree.
I'm sorry. He's the Nobu killer.
Yeah.
He's the Nobu killer.
No, that is a team that has received 0. I guess Hydra's even worse, but
Hydra is worse. But I mean, at least Hand has the Hand event, and they increased the payouts for those, so they actually kind of made the Hand event worth it. So
I remember I invested pretty hard in Hand like a good while ago, whenever they were decent, and now they're just absolute garbage. Other than with the event, which is that's a fair enough point.
Yeah,
but,
I mean Nobu was a top tier character in beta.
I wasn't around in beta, but whenever he came out, he wasn't top tier, but he was definitely pretty.
Nobody else summoned though.
Well, no,
Yondu, right? But Nobu was easy to get in beta, and he summoned Hand, and Hand had some really good synergy. So, and he gave everybody counter and stuff. And this was before we had this these really wacky abilities. So
those were the simpler days. Yeah.
those were the simpler days. Those were the fun days.
But those are when counter was actually like a good ability. Like you're like, oh man, this guy's got like AoE counter. Nice.
Right.
That's like a footnote on someone's mild-on passive now.
Right? AoE counter on spawn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hand is not as bad as Hydra, but they definitely need to touch up at some point.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I have a feeling it's not coming for a while though. But
oh yeah, definitely not. But
though it could be.
Yeah, I mean he was definitely like, I mean he was built to counter Ultron. You are 100% right, and he's going to do a darn good job with it too.
Yep.
Which you and I have already spoke about this with the patrons earlier, but he is going to be like, you think that it's good for you because you're like, oh, finally I can counter some of those teams, but
oh no, it's going to be bad for you.
It is always a double-edged sword.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have it, and you got to remember it's always going to be 1,000% better version of it that they have that you don't. So,
yeah,
and it's going to be more pain. I think.
I mean, you did mention DD3 in there, right? That he's probably going to be every node that you can run Ultron on. He'll be on DD. He'll be in that DD3 node. I promise you that. I'll put money on it right now that he will be in DD3 on every node that you can run Ultron on. There will be a Black Bolt who drops full energy, full speed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. I think that is going to be their way to roadblock people in DD3.
Yeah, so I was running. I think it was the beta. It was the beta raid earlier this week, and I noticed. Didn't they promise us? Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they promise us that they were going to remove the ability of tunes that drop in to like just start at full speed?
I thought they said
that's
ringing a bell.
I'm pretty sure they said they were going to remove that from the nodes so that when characters drop in, they do not drop in like preloaded TM.
It's ringing a bell, but I can't place where they said it.
So Space Cowboy says just for the Champions raid, but I'm pretty sure that they said it was at least, if not just, I don't remember the Champions raid. But I want to say that they also made it for the Greek raids, for the Gamma, if not others. Look, anytime they drop in somebody preloaded, that's a garbage, lazy mechanic. I recorded it and I sent it to him, and I was, did I send it to him? I can't remember. But I went to him as part of the envoys and was like, did you guys say you weren't going to do this anymore?
I mean, how many things have we brought to them with that? But yeah,
right. That's very fair.
Like a broken record right there.
That is very, very fair. So I think that that is something that they need to correct if they haven't already. That because I noticed that I was like, wait, they just dropped in and they were running. They like 4 people went before mine. What? I was what? What? So, yeah, not a happy camper. Let's see. So, yeah, let's see. We talked about Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, Heimdall, Sif. Let's go into today's whatchamacallit?
Dev blog.
The dev blog. Because I actually have not read this yet. So, hey, surprise, guys.
This one was pretty light.
I'm going to experience it at the same time you do. Woohoo!
This one was very light, so there's not much there.
Yeah, so we're going to have the winter login character with the snow globe, which we've already been getting. 60k gold.
Yippee!
I'm facepalming right now. You can't even take one character like a level 74 to 75.
Oh, I mean that's negligible to me. I mean that's like a penny. Yeah.
So we're gonna have Strife this week. We'll have Strife again next week. Monday we'll have Night Nurse.
Useful.
City support specialist to add sustain to your raid team.
Like she's even kind of viable anymore.
Nobody runs night nurse. Nobody. Let's see. And then we've got Invisible Woman returning, which I'm happy for because I'm actually going to be able to unlock her.
Yeah.
So that'll be very good. And there was no strike time this week, so that'll be that's a little disappointing. We have nobody to make fun of, so I shouldn't say that. I mean, look, I appreciate the devs coming out and talking and doing these interviews.
It's actually my favorite part.
It is
the interview with the devs. Yeah,
it is fantastic. Especially when they tell us they want to make puzzles by making it impossible. These guys got to script it out. I'm telling you what. But yeah, so really light blog this week. I won't be surprised to see light blogs probably through the remainder of the year because we've got Christmas coming up and then we'll have New Year. So, and I'm pretty sure that they'll have people having taken holidays.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's coming up at the end of the year. That's just how it goes. So next week we are starting the Heimdall campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. We'll be able to, us plebes will be able to start farming him next week.
Yep.
So
are you going to go hard on him or use cores and stuff?
I will use cores. The problem is I've not been able to kind of bank up cores because I've been buying like 4+ energy per day to get to level 75.
Yeah, that's true. It does come at a time whenever it's really hard to save up those cores.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
Do you think that
I need to get a tinfoil hat.
Do you think that DD3 will be out before the end of the year?
No, because outside of 2 people, maybe. How many people do you think have a character at, have a team at G14, let alone 3 teams at G14?
But why do you think they would want to drop it at a point where it is almost impossible for people to get in? Because that will force people who like to spend lots of money to be able to get up there to do it.
Yeah. Do you think? But they've already done that by announcing what it's going to be. So I don't think they have to drop it to encourage the spenders. I think the spenders are already going, oh, hey, here, hold my beer.
Well, no, because I think the goal at the end of the tunnel is getting whatever that mystery character is ASAP in game.
Right, but what I'm saying is I don't think that they have to drop it for those that do that to do that. Mm-hmm. They're already doing it. They're already spending the money to get their characters ready for DD3. That dropping DD3 now is not going to get them to spend. Spenders are already spending the money. I doubt you're going to get Go ahead.
I think it would still expedite their spending, but I mean, like you definitely could be right for sure.
No,
I already know that. I already know that you're right, though. I mean, like a lot of the, the top basically 5 alliances are probably all gearing up right now and spending maybe not as much as they can, but pretty close to as much as they can, just getting ready for it. But yeah, I think you definitely see a spike if they dropped it tomorrow, but. I would be curious to see how significant of a spike that would be.
Here's my thing, all right? So there are 2 spikes I would want to see there, right? Mm-hmm. One is going to be the spike in spending. Number 2 is going to be the spike in uninstalls. I'm not even kidding. I mean, I don't say that facetiously. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
Because I think the moment they drop DD3, people are going to actually realize what they have to do to complete that. And they're going to go, I'm out.
When do you think that they will drop it?
I would say look probably around the 1 year anniversary of Alliance War, so maybe February.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I thought it was going to be probably like January, like mid January ish. So we're pretty close. But I did hear a whisper of it being on New Year's, so that's why I was asking. Um, but
That's
yeah,
you've heard more than me, but then again, you know more people than me.
just a
So
whisper. It's just a whisper though. Like,
right.
don't put much behind it in the slightest. But yeah,
I mean,
it was just
it could
curious.
be. And I'm being dead honest when I tell you I really don't know, and I'm not bound by NDA on that because I really don't know.
Yeah.
So if
So
I did, I'd say yeah, this is coming or something's coming or I'd figure out a way.
Yeah, and I forgot, and feel free to not answer this because I don't know if this does fall under NDA, although I don't think you know. But I know that we all very highly suspect that it's Doctor Doom, but I believe we got some kind of confirmation or people who would know, do know already that it's Doctor Doom. Is that right? It's all but
I don't
confirmed
know.
by them, right?
I honestly don't know
Okay.
who it's going to be. I think that is the suspicion that it will be Doctor Doom. I think it's been data mined that it's going to be Doctor Doom, but I cannot.
Okay, yeah,
I
maybe it was the
can't
data
confirm
mine.
that one because I honestly don't. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
So
As soon as I still remember, as soon as I saw him in that little thing, that little like conversation where they already had him like put into the game, basically the aesthetics of him put
the
into the game.
Gamma 4.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, he's coming fairly soon, like within a year.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I actually thought he would be here by last August because I think there was something like with the the Fantastic Four reboot. I'm surprised that when they were dropping all the Fantastic Four characters that they didn't do something at that time as well.
same. Yeah,
It seemed like it would have been the perfect opportunity. I mean, I kind of, I guess, get why they didn't. But, I mean, they're going to make him above Ultron level at this point. They have to, especially at those entry requirements for DD3. If he's not an I win button, then he's not worth all that effort. Point blank. I mean, if it's not summon Doctor Doom, win, then he's not worth it.
yeah.
So, oh man, yeah. Sorry, talking about DD3 makes me angry.
Obviously.
It's just, I mean, they boxed themselves into a corner, right? And they have made it so that it's impossible for them to go anywhere at this point, except insane. And that's not good.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree with you on that.
So it makes me worried for the longevity of this game. And it's funny. I want to give credit to credit where credit's due to Chewie for this one, where basically he basically said, Disney announces potential, that Fox X is on the market. The next day, unlock packs are $50 a piece.
Oh yeah, I gotta squeeze the toothpaste tube.
Yeah, really,
Gotta.
really.
Yeah.
It
It is always scary that, like, because I mean, I've never personally experienced this because this is probably like the first game that I ever really got attached to mobile wise. But I remember you experienced this with another game, was that like these companies do shut down almost inevitably at some point, but
Yeah.
it's all of that investment that you put, like, is never guaranteed to be there the next day. Isn't that crazy?
It is. It's crazy and it's scary, right? I mean,
Yeah,
so I
exactly.
played what was it? Well,
The
I
Hobbit
was
one, right?
well, so Hobbit Kingdoms of Middle Earth. Well, that was Kabam. They sold it to another company, and then it went on for another year or two, I think. But Kabam drove me out of that game long before shortly after they sold it. Probably right around the time they started banning me from the forums. Angry
You're
Dorian
such
will
a
be
little
angry.
like, yeah, exactly.
Um, you know,
Terrorize the forums with your anger.
I didn't even think I was that bad. I may have called them Nazis.
Well, that's fairly bad.
So, well, I mean, they were blocking content and stripping, undoing posts and stripping content. And you know me, I'm a free speech advocate.
That's true.
So I call a spade a spade. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. True
So
that.
yeah. So yeah, that got me banned from the forums. So I had to create shadow accounts.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that like if you're one of those people that really invested a bunch of money, like even me, for someone who in the grand scheme of things hasn't invested that much into this game, like a couple $100, like I would feel like crap if they deleted this tomorrow or something.
Yeah, and you've
I
got
can't
no
imagine people
recourse.
that spend like thousands.
None.
Exactly. That's the crazy part. I always thought that, like, I mean, I guess conceptually, like, I knew that there was always an end point, but I just never actually thought about it, that you really don't get anything back. I don't know why I got onto this, but it still blows my mind to think about it sometimes. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I've been. Thanks for shaking. He gave me a ping to be careful on YouTube algorithms, but we're so small, and this is the first time I've broadcast that. I doubt they hit me, but
Mm-hmm.
you never know.
What are you not supposed to say?
I said the N word.
Oh, that's bad. I mean,
you know,
not that N word, but the other.
maybe did I drop any cussing? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I gotta be a
I
little
actually
bit more
don't think
careful.
I have, surprisingly. But yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah,
if we're gonna have a
careful.
cussing heavy show, I'm likely not to do it on YouTube or Twitch. I'll probably just keep it audio only. But
Yeah.
yeah. So it, yeah. But yeah, I mean that honestly is a concern. Like I started playing a game by Bandai.
Mhm. Oh, I know Bandai well.
Yeah, so it was called Legends. This was what, 2 years now. It was really cool. It was going to be like a Galaxy of Heroes clone. This was before Strike Force. In fact, this was about a year before Strike Force.
Hmm.
And it was basically in the same vein as Galaxy of Heroes. And I got in on the beta test. I got to talk with the devs. I was, that actually is kind of where I started making content, because their first legendary character was called Metwao.
Hmm.
And like their whole character base was based on like mythology. So you had Merlin, you had Odysseus, you had Calypso, Robin Hood, Longbeard,
Right.
or Blackbeard. I mean, so it had a really cool mythos behind it, and so I was really getting into that game. And then they just kind of announced, "Hey, we're shutting down because we're putting everything into Naruto."
And it was a darn good game too, the Naruto one. So
If
well
you say
played,
so. I
Bandai.
never played it. I couldn't get into it. I'm not. No, it wasn't. Was it Naruto or was it Dragon Ball? Maybe in one of the Dragon
I
Balls.
both of the Dragon Ball ones for mobile are fantastic, and both of the Naruto ones for mobile are
I'm not a fan of
fantastic. So,
swippy swipe mobile games. And so I tried the Dragon Ball where you got to swipe to dodge and then swipe up, swipe down, and tap. And it's just not my speed. Man.
I like that one. It was nice and intricate. Like I like that one a lot. The Naruto one, why am I blanking on the name right now? But it's the one where you get to move around your characters, and it's kind of like almost like a puzzle. That is my AC. I forgot to turn that off. Sorry. Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I might have to cut this out. Can you mark down the time for this, by the way? Because it's going to take a minute for it to actually shut off. How bad is it? Is it pretty bad?
It's just a little fuzzy in the background.
Okay, if you're fine with it, then yeah, just go ahead. But
I don't care.
All right, well then, yeah, I'm turning it off. But yeah, it'll take a minute or two to actually.
Okay. Off. All right, that's fine. So I did want to talk about something I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, and it's something that I and a couple of the other envoys have had a conversation about as well. And it's just the absolutely insane, unsustainable flood of characters we're getting in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly, it's stupid, insane.
I don't know if I agree. I mean, okay. I agree because I've heard people defend it by saying like it shouldn't be this fast because they're going to run out of characters. And
well,
I think they're
not going to run out of characters
because they're never going to run out of characters. And worst case, even if they did somehow run out of characters, they just come up with different instances of characters. But for the flow of content in regards to resources, you're 100% right. Like we're always draining on nothing, basically. Like we never have enough for anything, and that sucks. But I don't see that changing because that's the optimal state for them. So
yeah, I mean, it's more about if you try to stay competitive, then you're going to have. Here's the problem, and so to get a character, and not even even a guaranteed character, you're dropping $50 every couple of weeks,
right?
Okay, to get them to like 7-star, you're dropping like $400. Okay, that's not okay. And I'm sorry, a 7 yellow star character in this game is still not usable.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Okay, so now you've got to start dropping for red stars when they have the red star boosted packs. And what I'm talking about more from the unsustainability is the pricing metric. Because I honestly, when I see people even in our own alliance, when I see people, the day somebody's unlocked, it's like unlocked, gear 13. I'm like, guys, you may have a problem. I mean, honestly, I worry about some of these people, and I'm like, guys, I mean, look, it's your money to spend, but man, are you okay?
Well, I think, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, hopefully no one is spending money that they can't afford to spend. That is rule number one for sure. But, although I wish that people wouldn't spend on this game because it just reinforces their own tactics, which I don't like because they're particularly greedy, I think, for a mobile company. People are going to spend how they want to spend, and it's their prerogative to do so. And, however they get enjoyment, it's how they get enjoyment. It's subjective to everyone. So I get it.
Right. And don't hear me. I'm not saying that, right? Look, if you've got the disposable income and this brings you joy, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to spend money. But take a look at your Google Play statement and reevaluate whether or not that's really what brings you joy.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. Like it's very sustainable for the company itself because people, I mean, this game is a money-making machine. Like, they know people will drop ridiculous amounts of money on Marvel IP stuff, and they know that every single movie that comes out will just reinvigorate that.
Right.
So, I mean, nothing will stop it, and that's, it is what it is.
Nothing
So
will stop it until either there, and I'm not I don't believe in regulation and legislation, but until there's something that forces them to stop, if people can't, they're reinforcing the addiction. We've talked about this, right?
Right.
They're reinforcing that addictive behavior. Okay, if you already have, I'm not saying that gambling's wrong. We're not talking about gambling itself. I'm talking about addiction, gambling addiction, right? And it's possible to develop addictions from doing things over and over and over and over. Okay, I'm a guy who smoked for 22 years. Okay, I started smoking when I was 14, and that didn't happen when I did my first cigarette. It happened because I did it continuously, right? Addictions are repeated behaviors, so I'm not saying that everybody that spends money is addicted, but every time you do spend money, you increases your chances of becoming addicted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I am not disagreeing with that. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, mobile games, until there's legislation blocking, or putting in some kind of limitations as to what these games, or I should say these companies do with these games, and their spending, I don't think we're going to see a big shift in anything. Like, it will always be conducive to gambling addicts. Then there's nothing we can do about it until something, lawful is made, or unless we're shown a better way.
Right.
So, and I do think, and, I don't know if you're going to say about this, but, for League of Legends, it's a game I play, and they're coming out with lots of new games. They just basically put out a game on every single type of game. Like, within the next 2 years, they're all going to be out. They just did a big announcement for it a little while ago. And the reason I'm saying that is because their way of monetizing all of their games is very free-to-play friendly, and it is not really based on progress blocking, like in-game progress blocking. It's all about buying like cosmetics. So that's the best way to do it. And like Hearthstone is a good example. Like Hearthstone is that is a huge money maker, and they always block content with it. Behind the dollar, the almighty dollar.
Right.
But with League of Legends version, they're actually totally changing that, and they're making it like, if you want a particular card, you can get that particular card, and you can use the points in the game to get that particular card. So, I'm hoping that other games that come out that are more popular can basically strong arm the industry into making better chances, or decisions rather, whenever it comes to monetization. But still, the most likely scenario is just going to be nothing will change until actual legislation is made and it's made illegal.
Maybe. So here's the other thing, right? The other thing that drives down prices is competition. And, I hope maybe that, like, I've gotten really big into a new game that dropped, past couple of months called Dragon Champions. And so for one character pack in Marvel Strike Force, you can basically 7-star a character in Dragon Champions, and it's both good and bad, right? Because it's really good because it's got a lower entry point, and it's funny, in the 2 months that I've played Dragon Champions, I've spent more than I have in the 2 years I've played Marvel Strike Force. Because I feel like I'm actually getting something for my money, even though it's not a known IP. It's their own story, right? The developers are making up the story as they go. I actually feel like I'm getting something to be able to compete in the game, for my money, especially early on. You can unlock a character for $2. In fact, one of the characters that you can unlock for $2 is a in-game raid player character, right? And that's crazy. And to me is more likely to drive prices down in other games if people start flocking to the lower price entry points for what is relatively a similar game. The problem is it's not Marvel, and people are paying for Marvel.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just going to say. The IP makes all the difference there, because I don't think that it's. I think that Dragon Champions would gladly charge the amount of money that Marvel is for Marvel Strike Force, but the problem is that people wouldn't buy it because it does not have the power of the IP behind it. So, and the problem is that these big IP games, I mean, Dragon Champions, let's face it, the community, although, large for a mobile game and how inflated, mobile games are, is negligible compared to the population of Marvel Strike Force in its entirety.
For right now, you're absolutely right. I know they got a huge influx of Galaxy of Hero characters, players, because that game's just a dumpster fire right now. Anybody who plays Galaxy of Heroes, you know what I'm talking about. How's that Rebel offense or that Republic offensive working out for you?
But I mean, even with Galaxy of Heroes, though, I mean, I would argue the same thing. Even though it went through that stage, I mean, it's just whenever you look at the size of these games and you kind of estimate the communities, and it's nothing against the game itself. It's just that these big IP games, they're really hard to compete with, and
because people come for the IP.
Exactly. 100%.
That's why I keep talking about like Dragon Champions, because I keep trying to tell people it's the same game. You're just not married to the Marvel or the Star Wars IP. If you ever want more bang for your buck, there is 1,000 different games or clones of the same type of game as this game right here that you can get for way cheaper on every single front. Just as you said, Dragon Champions is an amazing version of that right there. But yeah, the problem is it just doesn't have that gigantic IP pushing it, and that's what allows them to charge justifies in their mind them charging these ridiculous prices. And I guess the people actually spending it. That is what ultimately justifies it. Ultimately, that is where it comes from.
Yeah,
that's very fair. So my fear comes back to then, and I think we got a little bit off track on this, was we are getting so many characters in the game now that we are not able to. So we all complain about the gold crunch, the resource crunch, a lot of that is driven by the fact that we are getting characters so quickly, and they are so required in certain nodes that you have to spread your resources super thin to stay competitive.
Oh yeah.
That's why, I'm in the characters are not content camp. Because I believe that content is the game itself, not the characters you use to do the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know there's people that disagree, and I don't want to, wars have been fought over less, but, I don't want to get into it too much. But, like, here's a great example. We were told about and kind of promised Cyclops.
Right.
Last summer. We're
it's already
6 months
been
out.
That long?
It's been like 6 months since they announced Cyclops.
Jeez.
Okay. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But I'm pretty sure that because it was around the time that Phoenix dropped, right?
It was a bit after Phoenix.
Okay, so Phoenix dropped in like May.
Yeah. Was it May? Okay.
Yeah, because it was right around the time of the Dark Phoenix movie.
Okay.
So I do want to say that it was sometime. I want to say it was sometime this summer, like May, June, that they first talked about Cyclops.
So that was probably about 6-7 months ago is what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We still haven't seen him. Okay?
Oh yeah.
They released Cyclops. They
Still
released,
waiting on the Black Order.
We are still waiting on the Black Order. They released Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not farmable. They just made Psylocke farmable.
Black Widow.
Black Widow's never been farmable. Nobody's finally farmable.
Yeah.
They made the Thing farmable, but where's everybody that was released before Thing? It's just, they want to talk about these teams, and they want to say, oh, hey, you can run your Phoenix team. Well, a really kind of core part of that Phoenix team is Colossus.
Yeah.
So why, and I've gone to them and I've been like, look, you've released characters and you're bringing out new characters before you're bringing out characters before the characters you've released or announced, right? You're releasing characters before characters you've announced. Mm-hmm. And it's insane. Like, I want to say, isn't there somebody like right now we're waiting on that, is he just in Orbs? I thought they said that he was going to be available on Node. I just kind of glanced at it in game, and it was just like, whatever. If he's just available in Orbs, then that's fine. Then I take that. Then I will completely take that back to an extent. Because is Colossus available in Orbs? Because if he's not, then I stand by my thing. But it's definitely, in my mind, it's and no, Colossus is not in Premium Orbs. So unless he's under a different name, I feel like there's somebody that they've announced recently that we haven't seen yet that we're already getting. Oh, yeah, I mean, so they announced Strife, and now we got Heimdall before we got Strife.
Yeah.
Right? Mr. Sinister was a 100 shard unlock in Blitz.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, I don't think they understand their own release cadence, and it gets frustrating. And I worry a little bit about the long-term sustainability of that, because they're throwing characters at us. They're astronomically high prices for what you're getting. I'm sorry, they are.
Yeah, no, I think that they know what they're doing though with the release cadence. Like, I think they're purposely holding particular characters back because of whatever reason that they know in the future, or a very obvious reason in some cases, for legendary farming, to gate legendary farming, stuff like that. I think that they definitely know what they're doing, and it's just an unfortunate reality that I don't think there's ever going to be a clear-cut character release cadence. It'll just kind of be like whenever they feel like they don't need to milk this particular character anymore,
Right. Like, so Elite talks here in chat, saying that Colossus is only in the Mega Orb. Okay.
Right.
And when they're all farmable, where are they going to put them? Well, there are still characters that have double nodes. So that, and there's stores. Because, I mean, I have a feeling that if you're a long-term player, then you've pretty much got all the characters out of the stores. And look, these games are at their core resource management, so you have to kind of decide where you're going to put those resources. So if let's say they put Colossus in the arena store, and you still need to farm M'Baku or Vulture, you got to make a choice, right? You can't farm everything at once. But they should at least give you that choice. And it's up to you to determine where you're going to take your rostering to get the most value for your investment, right? And your investment in this is basically time.
Or they could just add more campaign nodes.
Well, and I mentioned that in here too. There's Nexus 8 and 9. They could add more campaign nodes. Yavusi here talks about, the Heimdall orb is not a guaranteed Heimdall. It's been like that since War Machine.
Yeah.
War Machine started that one. We talked about it then. It is absolute garbage. I hate that the campaign orb. Now, if you had bought the Heimdall offer pack, that's a guaranteed
specific
Heimdall.
orb. Yeah,
But if you buy the Gladiator or Cosmic Warrior or whatever they're calling it pack, then no, that's not going to be. You're never, that's not going to be. It's been like that obviously since War Machine, but Elite, you can't max them all out now anyway. So I started the first year and I can't max them all out either. So that argument doesn't hold water in any game that has any type of life to it. So Elite, for those that are not able to watch in chat, said if you're not a player that started first year, good luck. You'll never max them all out, not even close. But so what? I mean, should those people that have been playing since the first year be punished because they want to, cater to the guy who's been here for 3 months? Who should they show more loyalty to, Hebrew? Should they show loyalty more towards people that have been here through, since global launch, or the guy who started yesterday?
I mean, which one do they show loyalty to, or which one should they show loyalty? Yeah, I mean, they should show loyalty to the people who have been playing the longest, but I mean, that's not now. They know that we're going to stick with it usually. So
yeah. Now the actual true answer is they should show loyalty to them both. But
yeah, well, they should show. Yeah, I mean,
I set you up. I'm sorry. That was a answer with a bad question, or that was a question with two bad answers.
I do think that they cater more towards the newer player, though, because they want to suck them in very quickly and try to get as much out of them as possible. And then if they stick with it, they stick with it. Great. And if they don't, bye. We've already got some of your money.
Yeah. And, and now that, especially after they added, because, look, we're a year in on Red Stars. We should have a Red Star anniversary episode. And
oh, God.
So you've got 89 7 Red Star characters?
Mm-hmm.
No, Elite says he has 89 max characters. I'm like, you have 89 7 Red Star characters? Because if you don't, they're not maxed. So
yeah,
that's the unfortunate nastiness of this game. You may have 89 maxed 7-star characters, but it doesn't matter if somebody that started 3 days ago dropped a lot of money to get into it and got red stars and has 5 mega red star characters now because they're gonna blow them up. So
yeah, I mean,
and if you've got 89 level 75 7-star, that's low, like you're 14. So so sorry, kind of having a conversation with somebody in chat. And, he's saying, just thinking about Arena Store for a new player now just as awful. But, I mean, they have an opportunity now that we didn't have, in that they can farm what are arguably better characters out of Arena than we had an opportunity to.
Yeah, there's so much that I invested in that I would not if I could redo it.
Right. I did simply because I'm a completionist. But would I? No. If Colossus was in there, I wouldn't be spending it on Merc, whatever.
Yeah.
So I just, but the beauty of these types of games is that they force you to pick and choose what you're going to focus about. So
yeah.
What about Payday? I don't think I used anybody. First of all, Payday was an absolutely horrible investment when it first started. Muggin and I talked at length about the cost of getting everybody to level 75 and what they were originally offering in Payday. That was absolutely freaking horrible. So Yondu Crossbones meta. So we're getting a little off track here, but the point is that this type of character release progression without content really is really kind of unsustainable. I think that, when we see game modes like Ultima 7, it's a joke. And it's not sustainable.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we fundamentally disagree with there just because I think it's one of those things where it's very sustainable because people will. I mean, what they can't make up for in resources, they will make up for in money for the most part.
That's not
And
sustainability,
so,
though, Hebrew. That's throwing money to solve a problem. That's not
well, whose
sustainability for a game
perspective of
mode.
sustainability?
I'm talking about from a player standpoint of sustainability, right? I'm talking about the community at large. Okay, if you want to talk about the top 10 guilds, great, fine. Every mode in this game is
No,
sustainable
I thought you were
because
talking
they
about
will
the
spend
game
money.
itself, sustainability for the game.
No, I'm talking about like these types of modes, right? So let's look at the Ultimate 7 real quick. I have a solid team of level 75, gear 12, gear 13 characters that get absolutely crushed by like node 4 or 5. Unless you absolutely spend money on resources, you time out. You get crushed by guys that are designed to completely combat certain teams. The design is flawed for Ultimate 7. Bar none, hands down. I don't think anybody can argue that Ultimate 7 is a well-designed game mode. It's stuff like that makes this that makes the long-term sustainability really, really, really bad. Look at Dark Dimension 3. Okay, that is an unsustainable progression game mode because the entry level to that is so high and so out of whack that people are going to look at it and go, why am I bothering with this?
Yeah, so I think we're just looking at it from different perspectives. From the game developer wise, the sustainability of them doing this, I think that it helps their sustainability because I think it makes them a lot of money by keeping everyone's resources down. However, as you're, I think, referring to is just the average player at large, the sustainability of basically keeping that person engaged in the game with these kind of ridiculous conditions, I agree. I think that that's not good. But I also don't think that they care particularly.
Well, and that's a mistake because, Hebrew, let me ask you a question. Why do whales spend money?
Well, I mean, you could say to lord over other people, but I think it's more to lord or over the other competitive people.
So you think that the top 10 spenders in the game only care about beating the other 9? You don't think they care about beating everybody else in the game?
I think that is a bonus, but I think that being the best of the people that care to be the best too is what drives them. I mean, like look at Pantsov Hulk, Pantsov Hulk, and then Cabal. Like, I mean, they have like a rivalry going for like the longest time, and I mean, that's what they love to do. Do you think that they care about me? No, not at all. I think that they care about
I think they would absolutely care if everybody like you and me quit the game, because there's nobody for them to kind of be better than other spenders, and then it doesn't become look at what I've got. It's look at how big my wallet is.
Yeah, but I don't think. But like, I suppose. So you and me, we're replaceable. Like the IP does the rest. The spenders are the ones that give them all the money, and then the IP keeps recycling people. Like they don't particularly care about us. There's always going to be more people to replace us, and in fact, it's usually for every one that leaves, 2 more will join. Especially whenever you get to movie territory. So I don't think that they really care about that. Pleasing us particularly. It's more about just making sure that those whales keep spending, and IP will take care of the rest.
Right, but the point I'm trying to get to is that if free to play players leave the game, and I'm going to be honest with you, I know people that run top end guilds. They're bleeding spenders. They are bleeding spenders because
sure
and that's bad. That is horribly bad. But it's also bad, for every spender that you lose, if you lose 1,000 non-spenders, that's just as bad.
I think that whenever, like, I hear tons of times, like these, big whale players say, I'm going to leave. And I think that they know this, but I like the game itself or the devs themselves. but they very rarely do they actually leave. They love to keep people teetering on the edge. I mean, the amount of people that I have heard say they're going to leave, and then the amount of people I have actually seen leave, it is far and few between. And I think that, by continuing the recycle process that the IP does naturally, it'll keep naturally bringing in more whales too. And I think that they've probably, and this is a total guess, but I would say that they've probably only seen over time a fairly steady increase of spending going on in the game, period. Just, as these more greedy plays keep running their course, I think that you've only seen spending go up. It's begrudging spending, but it's spending nonetheless.
Do you think that's spending from the top end, or it's increased spending from the lower end? So is the pool going out, or is it getting more tight?
I think that it's both. I think that whales are literally bleeding from this now. I think that they're going to stick in because they're in so deep already. It's the sunk cost fallacy. But I think that it's harder to stay competitive at a free to play rate now. So I think that people who spend occasionally, stuff like that, are also more enticed to spend. So yeah, I think it's probably overall more spending. I could be wrong. This is speculation on my part right here.
Yeah, I can tell you that I pinged Chewy in chat because I know he has talked about because he runs a top 10 guild alliance. Sorry, he runs a top 10 alliance, and he's talked about the number of people that he's lost. Right, spenders. I have spoken with Fate's Fury, and he has talked about people that they kind of lost, and it's very problematic, right? So like Forsaken,
yet they're always able to fill up those rosters, though.
But why are they able to fill up those rosters?
Because more spenders come in.
No, I don't think it's because more spenders come in. I think it's because they pick from the lower guilds or the lower alliances, and it's a bleed up problem, and it makes recruiting at the lower ends even more difficult.
It could be. I mean, like I said, I'm speculating because I don't have numbers for it. No, I don't think any of us do. But so it's speculating, and I'm not in the really competitive territory anymore, so I don't really know. But it's just from what I've seen, it's very rare whenever people actually leave after they said that they're going to leave. And it seems like the game is only getting more popular. So I'm assuming that it's probably only making more money. And, these people, even if they do leave, there's always someone to take their spot.
Yeah. But the problem is that it's lower tier players. FlipFan here talked about Mystic Mac being in Cabal. That guy, there's no way he should have ever been in Cabal. Okay. Forsaken, lower players obviously would jump at the chance at getting into a Pants of Hawk or a Cabal or an ANR or one of those high level guilds that's 100%ing the raids and things like that. It's if when they lose those players, there's not another whale just standing there going, hey, hello. They're having to recruit from lower end players.
I mean, maybe, but just because they're lower end players, I don't know if that necessarily means that they're not willing to spend. I think that they're probably, or it could be just newer. They could be spending at the same rate. They're just newer.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you're. Having talked to people, my view of it is different. And I know that Forsaken, runs, or helps run the Unlimited Alliance. So he's probably got a better view of what's happening in the recruiting world than I do. Because thank God I don't have to deal with that nonsense anymore. I did that long enough in Galaxy of Heroes, but and Flip here has a good point as well. if let's say they get a new whale that comes into the game, okay, and they get offered a spot in Cabal, do you think they're ever going to be able to catch up with somebody in Cabal?
It doesn't have to do with it catching up, though. It just has to do with how much they're spending. Like, their rates of spending could be the same. It doesn't matter.
But it does matter because you can't if you can't complete the content, however much you spend isn't going to work.
Well, no, but I'm saying that completing the content really doesn't matter. It's just the rate of spending. So just because they might not be able to complete the content at the same rate as these people doesn't necessarily mean that they're not spending at the same rate.
Yeah, so I can tell you flat out, I think you're wrong here because the reason that they spend is to complete the content. You know, if they're not getting 100% on Ultima 7, for example, you know, then you know you better be spending to do your share to get that 100%.
Right, and I think that's exactly what they do. They spend, just as you said, because they can't complete it, so they make up even more with spending.
But there comes a point where you can't spend to catch up. You just can't.
I
would encourage you. I would encourage you to reach out to some of these higher end alliances and ask them and talk to them.
My only point was just that it was, you know, it doesn't matter if they can't or cannot. Like just as you said, like they're recruiting people who might not be at the same level as these guys, right? Who can't complete the content, but they have to fill them in with someone anyways, right? And who are they going to fill them in with? They're going to fill them in with people who are willing to at least spend to try to make up for as much as they can because they haven't been around as long. So the spending rate is the same, if maybe not even more, to try to make up for that gap in what they lack. So I don't think that like content completion, I think doesn't really matter here. I think it's just spending rate, because I agree there's roadblocks that are much harder to pass now than someone who's been playing for a really long time. I think that's, you know, the case in any game, because just raw time is a metric in this game. But spending rate, it doesn't matter if, you know, someone that started today could be spending more than than a whale. You know, they're not going to be able to complete the same thing, but they're still going to be spending the same. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if they're spending the same but aren't able to help the alliance complete the goals of being the first to do something, then they may keep them until they find another spender that's got a better roster. And then they're going to give the other guy, doesn't matter how much he spends, they're going to give him the boot.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that guy's not going to spend anymore at the same rate. I guess
maybe. I mean, he's likely to get frustrated and go, "I wasn't a top guild, but
you're,
you know,
100% right." Yeah, he might.
But he might, and he might stick around. I don't know. You know, and it's like Peon said here. The reality is in the middle. So I don't know what guild Peon's in.
Pretty high. I've seen his roster, or not his roster, but I remember characters from his roster, and they are high. So.
Right.
But either way, yeah, without numbers, it makes all of this suspect. It's really hard to do anything without numbers. I really wish that we could get numbers. It'd be very enlightening.
Oh, Peon retired? I did not realize. So he was in Legion of Power and he quits. Wow. Hey, well, thanks for dropping by, Peon.
Oh,
Peon quit last week. And he was in Legion of Power.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude. I'm honestly, well, hey, thanks for hanging out with us, man. I mean, I really, really appreciate you hanging around and spending time with us, you know, even though you don't play the game no more.
Well, I remember those blitz scores that you used to have too. It was crazy. Let me ask you a question, Peon, real quick, just since, you know, like you're probably the best person to ask about this. How do you feel about like how much you've like leaving the game after how much you spent, and did that sunk cost fallacy, like play a big part in like eventually like getting you to finally quit? Would you have quit a lot earlier if it wasn't for that, or what? I'm genuinely just curious here.
Yeah, I wish he had a mic. I asked him if he had one because I'd love to chat with him about this.
I think.
Yeah, congrats on your freedom. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that. I like
Not
that
at all
class.
the
That's
sunk
much
cost
better than the one I
fallacy.
used to use.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm surprised. So you just don't mind that all that money was. I don't mean to like make it seem worse, but like you don't mind that money's kind of like wasted now in a way. Because that would be my hardest part, especially if I spent as much as someone in like a top tier alliance did.
Yep. By the way, Legion of Power, in case you were unaware, is the third rated alliance in the game.
Yeah. Wow.
That is they are
Okay, that's
150
fair.
mil power. So yeah, they are right behind. They're about 25 mil behind Pants of Hulk, and 38 behind Legion of Cabal.
Where's the ANR sitting right now?
Hold on, I minimized BlueStacks. ANR. They've dropped. Where is ANR? They were top 10.
Yeah, Chu was telling me that they dropped temporarily, though. I think he says he thinks that they're going to bump it back up soon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're gonna have. I have a feeling they lost some. They lost a few people.
Yeah. But I think just to mention what Pion said. So after I asked that, Pion said I played MCOC for 3 years before this, and he doesn't mind that investment is quote unquote wasted, just because he felt like he got the entertainment value that he paid for. I think that's great. That's the best way to look at it. I wish that I wasn't so nostalgic about my money. Maybe that's the Jewish side of me talking. But yeah, that is literally the best way to look at it whenever you spend money going in. Like, as long as you consider it like money well spent for your entertainment, I think that's the best thing you could possibly do. So I think that's good. I'm glad about that.
For those of you that may be on the Twitch stream still, you have met my cat Bobby. She was not going to leave me alone, so I had to give her some quick lovins, and there we go. So
we should probably move on.
Let's
to the
move
next
on.
thing just to keep the podcast going.
I think we've kind of talked that one to death. We'll talk about it again because I think it's going to be a continual issue.
Interesting thing, anyways.
Absolutely,
to talk about, so yeah,
it absolutely is. So let's go ahead and move in now. And obviously there was no survey, so we don't have a ton of grab bag questions, but I think we do have a few here. Let's see. This is from. I don't remember if we read this one or not, but I want to make sure. Let's see. This is from Immortal Thor. This is from November 25th. So this is a couple of weeks old. But since we didn't have a show last week, I feel like this is something we should probably go ahead and answer. I've had a horrifying thought. Since we still haven't seen any hint of him, what if Dark Dimension 3 is the way to unlock Cyclops? If he's supposed to be so awesome and Ultron level, wouldn't that make sense? What are your thoughts?
I don't think that he's. I mean, I think he's going to be super, super strong. We've already said that tons of times and worked out the numbers that he's currently sitting at, and so he's going to be really strong. But I don't think that he's going to be as strong as Doctor Doom is going to be strong. So if they came out with Cyclops as the Dark Dimension character, and maybe this is just me not thinking of something. I mean, synergy with X-Men is really strong, obviously, and he's going to be a really good puzzle piece to fit there. But, I mean, I don't see him as crazy of a character as what I think Doctor Doom is going to be. So that's just me. If they do that, whatever. But I honestly think that isn't as exciting.
Yeah, I kind of want to jump over real quick to msf.gg because we've got Cyclops' kit. And we already
we went over it.
Yeah, we've been over it. Obviously we haven't seen it in forever. I mean, it's amazingly powerful. If Doctor Doom is more powerful, then that's going to be kind of crazy, don't you think?
I mean, who would you pick over, like with Cyclops? Would you pick Ultron or Cyclops?
Wow, I gotta talk to them about these ads. This is oof. Taunts, attack primary for 300 damage. On turn,
I'd say that.
I mean,
all around.
So all
a
around,
character?
I think Ultron is a better all around character because he fits everywhere, right? You can just basically throw Ultron onto a team. Cyclops, while he will work well by himself, then I think that he does work better, obviously, if he's with X-Men and especially with Phoenix.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that assessment. But the thing is that I think that the character that's going to be coming with DD3, most likely Doctor Doom, is like not even going to leave that question lingering in your mind of who you want more. Like if we are comparing potentially Ultron to Cyclops and even having a discussion about it, that makes me think that whoever is going to be the character for DD3 will put both of them to shame. That's my personal opinion, but we'll see. I think that that's a logical jump, though.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I just if Doom isn't an all around I win, then it's just that node's going to be a complete failure.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going, just for the sake of money on their part, I don't think that they're going to let it be anything other than an absolute monster, considering what they saw with Ultron and how many people spent to get Ultron.
Yeah.
Because he instantly became oh my god, I have to get Ultron because I'm getting destroyed by Ultron character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Arena now is really a joke because it's sad. I can go into Arena and I can typically just go into a fight. I can go into a battle. I can do the first attack with Magneto to make sure, because Magneto's stupid from the AI. Block Ultron and then hit auto and just go.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
that's not good for an arena mode, but I think Supernatural might be arena viable if you can get them high enough.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, they're so low for me. So yeah,
they are really, really good.
Yeah.
So I love Supernatural. Let's see. So here's a question from Ryla. What is your favorite non-meta and non-built synergy team? Like a team that wasn't intended to go together but works out great for you.
Trying to think.
Is there really one anymore?
I don't think so, because synergy's king everywhere.
I mean, you can take. I'm going to break that a little bit and say that synergy means a full team. So, like, for example, my Asgardians, I run 3 Asgardians, but I run 2 Spider-Verse. So is that a synergy team? I've got 3 of one, 2 of another.
Yeah, I mean, like, I suppose it's what's your definition on, having characters that weren't meant to be together on a team. I thought he was talking about like ones that are basically the majority of the characters are not meant to be together.
Right.
Having two groups of synergy characters, I don't know if I would quantify as what he was talking about.
I mean, Gravitech for me is probably my favorite non-meta, non-synergistic team.
I was just about to say, I think honestly, because I mean, Tech Wing has more synergy than Gravitech does.
No.
I know, because they're both tech. So I mean, like Falcon and
actually, I would say Gravitech has less synergy.
Yeah,
because Graviton doesn't get the bonuses when Ultron kills.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, maybe that might be one of the stronger ones now. So yeah, I don't know. It's synergy is so powerful now that
It is so
the
powerful.
teams that we used to see where it was just kind of a mix and mash of characters, like we don't see those anymore. Not as often, at least.
No, we really, really don't. And the only time you're probably ever going to see them is maybe in a hodgepodge war defense.
Yeah.
Maybe in a blitz because I run an Ultron team in blitz. It's pretty much a non-synergistic team because it's Ultron. What do you need synergy for with Ultron?
Yeah.
So, uh, and then so our last question comes from Pope. So Pope says here, sorry, I got off the channel. I want to go back. He goes, I want to hear more about Dorian's other podcast projects in the works. So I apologize, Hebrew. Sorry. So I've got the Ninja Panda Chronicles that I do weekly, which is a podcast for the Dragon Champions game. I have had one in the works for a while called Off Mic with Dorian Blade that I've just not had the time to do. Where basically it's me interviewing other content creators. I've got some great ones lined up. Chewie's on that list. Wolver Thor, Tony Bing. I think Valley's on the list. I've got some guys from Galaxy of Heroes, the Escape podcast, Stu Gaming. So I'm sorry, Storm and Mormon. So it's that I thought would be kind of an interesting one. Think of comedians in cars getting coffee, or off camera, where it's just people talking about the business of content creating. And then obviously I do, I'm thinking maybe of starting one for Elite Dangerous. I don't know, maybe called Mostly Harmless, which, if you know anything about the game, is kind of a joke about the lower level ranks for combat. So, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I got time for another podcast. And besides, I couldn't compete with Lave Radio as it is. So, big shout out to the Lave Radio guys from England who do a weekly podcast on Elite Dangerous. They were also kind of an inspiration for me to get into creating content. Hebrew.
Yes.
Who you farming, buddy?
So right now I am once again in the hold my resources bit because I am planning on trying to, when I say spend, I always mean cores now, just from like cores I save, on Heimdall whenever he comes. So, because I want my Asgardians to be good. So yeah, that's kind of my goal right now. Been just saving up for that. I really want Black Bolt. I don't think I'll get him in the first go round, but hopefully I'll get him in the second.
Yeah,
what about you?
That would be really, really nice. I actually have quite a few people. So I'm still farming all my aim. They are, without a doubt, I want to get, I just got Assaulter to 6-star. So, these guys with these single nodes, they are forever. So, Assaulter Security, I'm working on Falcon. I'm still working on Green Goblin, Shocker, and Hand Assassin. Mysterio. I have 3 people sitting waiting to go to 7-star, which makes me sick. And then a lot of gear. Just a lot of gear. Trying to get gear and levels going. So that's really about it.
Very nice. Very nice. Well played.
Yeah. So, Hebrew, is there anything that you would like to say before we head out for the night?
No, it's pretty much, well, just my normal thank you guys, all the patrons. Really appreciate it. You guys are literally the lifeblood of the show. So, it's always a pleasure to come here and do the show for you guys. Everyone that's listening live, you guys are awesome because you tune in all the time and you spend your Friday night, which is valuable time, especially if you have families, listening to us goofy people. So, what does that sound?
That is actually the exit noise.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
outro music.
Ah, well, yeah, okay. I've never heard it come through while I'm doing my bit.
You've not before because I've not live streamed before.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So, yeah, what about you?
Wait, I was asking if you wanted to say anything.
Yeah, I said.
Okay, so how about you? That's not typically a how about you. I want to say, thanks for listening to the Ravager Report. You can find us on any and all of your favorite podcast apps or by going directly to our Podbean site at ravagerreport.podbean.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a rating and review, as it does help us to make the show better for you. You can also find us on Twitter at Ravager Repo and join our Discord channel at discord.me/Ravager Report. If you would like to help support our show, you can do so at patreon.com/Ravager Report. And for just $5 a month, you can get early access to the uncut live show a day or two before it's released. Finally, we do want to send a great big shout out to all our listeners and patrons for their continued support. And until next time, keep fighting, true believers.